Chapter 7. A week after the fight between my mom and dad, my mom had to move into Granny's room, even though it was Bisola's. She started sharing hers since Granny came here, and now three people were sharing it. As much as I would love to share mine with Bisola, I didn't want her to see me cry in the middle of the night, or see my face frown as a result of overthinking. It would just only affect her grades, which were already below average. I had told mom to make an inquiry about bio and Bisola from their class teacher. Ever since I became worried, and besides, teacher had explained how average her grades were and how she rarely answered questions in class and took home it all. She was refraining from her friends. She was just in JSS 1, that is called 7th grade. Bio's teacher had said she was good with his grades, but sometimes she noticed him staring into space and lost. She also said it had been 4 times she caught him when she came to mark their attendance. Bio was just in JSS 3, which is 9th grade, junior secondary school, 3 before moving to senior class soon. We were at a dining table, eating spaghetti and fish for dinner as silently as we could. It wasn't like before, where we would all be laughing ourselves as Mom fed Mr. Johnson playfully. As Mr. Johnson's phone rang, he checked the caller and instantly there was a broad smile on his face. He looked up at us and asked for an excuse before he went upstairs. Really? Just to receive a call? I looked over at Mom and asked, "Who was that?" "No name, just a blue and a red love emojis," she said and pursued her lips. "It wasn't you?" Bayo asked curiously. "Nah, not me, honey, but it's nothing to worry about." "Could it be Aunt Sarah? That is the only sister he's got?" Bisola said. "Maybe," Mom shrugged, not looking convinced at all. "If it was Aunt Sarah's that called, why did he have to go upstairs to receive the call?" It was love line, no doubt. These days he went out early and back late at night, which was a blessing for us, and other times his being at home was a curse. It was either he yelled or complained of nothing or started to look for someone to beat up. And I guess it was something he was doing to get me out of the house. But he wasn't going to leave. Not ready to leave and start roaming the streets. And I still had school to go to. It was just something I had to endure for a while. Just for a while. It won't be forever. Only God knows what he's up to, Granny said, already picking at her food. "It's fine, Mom. Everything is gonna be fine, okay?" Mom said as she held Granny's hand. Granny smiled back and rubbed Mom's face. "How is it? Does it still hurt?" she asked as she touched Mom's left temple of her eye. My mom flinched a bit and hissed, touching her wounded temple to her eye herself. "It's getting better. Don't worry too much." A week ago, when the fight happened, Mr. Johnson had managed to injure her, and she had lied to everyone that she tripped down the stairs. Whenever they asked what happened, my adopted father came down to the stairs with a smile. What was wrong with him? He sat down and looked at us, and we quickly bowed down to our food. Then he got a message and started grinning. "Okay, fine, it was a lady. He was cheating. It's isn't Mom going to do anything about it?" Mr. Johnson quickly shoved down 3 forksfuls of spaghetti down his throat and gulped down his chapmon drink. "Good night, Mom." He leaned to pet Granny. "Good night, Bio." "Night, Basala." He picked them too. Someone is in good mood. I left the dining table without telling Mom and me good night. We looked at each other and shrugged. Neither of us are cared. 10 minutes later, Basala was already in bed with Granny, sleeping, and Bio was busy washing the dishes in the kitchen. "Mom?" I called. "Hmm?" she answered, looking away from the magazine. "What?" "Dad, Mr. Johnson is cheating." I said, and I sat beside her. I know, darling. Since when? Since the day he lied he went to the hospital. I didn't tell you sooner. I just didn't want to cause any trouble for you too. Is it okay? How did you find out? I went through his phone. I was sitting on the bed reading when his phone buzzed with a message popped in, and I read it. It says, "Thanks for today, XOXO," from Loveline. That got my attention, so I had no choice but to unlock his phone and click on the message. She also said she couldn't wait to hear from him again. Oh, mommy, that must have been so hard to bear. I hugged her. Yeah, I was, Jason, but I'm getting over it, and I'm not expecting so much. Can't you divorce him? No, honey. Where will I go? I'm the only child of my mother. Well, you can go to your mother's place. Your dad is still alive too. You can go here and take us along. Sounds like a good plan. What? It's not that easy. Everything will change. You guys cool and I will be so embarrassed to go back to them. They don't like Ola. I know. They will want me to go if they are aware of what's happening to us, but nah, I'm not ready to go. I exhaled. I understand you, Mom. I will stand by you and make things better if I can. And thank you for everything. You are most welcome. Now, go to bed. You're going to school tomorrow and it's 10:30 already. All right, Mom, I said and kissed her good night. The class was noisy this morning. The students were chatting and some were going through their notes, doing homework, I guess, and some, especially the boys, were discussing yesterday's football match. The teacher entered the class with his textbooks and notebook clenched on his chest. He was short, fair in complexion, chubby. Well, not that chubby. He was also a bald man in his late 40s, I guess. His name was Mr. Edward and he taught English language, which was my favorite subject. Mr. Edward was a friendly man, but at the same time, he didn't tolerate nonsense. This morning, he was wearing a white t-shirt, black pants with a black and white patterned bow tie, complemented with the suede shoes. Good morning, students, he greeted his deep voice. Good morning, Mr. Edward, he replied, as some students adjust themselves. Okay, today we will be discussing synonyms. Does anyone want to tell me what it means? He asked, looking at us. Victoria raised her hand, looking at the teacher expectantly. Victoria was sitting beside me and had been so nice since the day she saw me cry. She was trying to be my friend, and that was the last thing on my mind. Making friends. Yes, you. What's your name again? Victoria. Philip. Victoria. Synonyms mean giving another meaning to a word. Okay, good. You. Oluwadamilola. What it what does it mean to hallucinate? To imagine, sir, Damilola said. See, I get it, Victoria whispered to me. I stared at her weirdly and said, yeah. That was how I had been replying to her. Simple answer, one word, two words, or three. I had even only said morning. When she greeted me good morning with a huge smile on her face, I didn't know what was wrong with her. Wasn't she a quiet and gentle girl? She wanted to be my friend, but I wasn't ready to start making friends, or maybe I should be her friend. It was of no use. She just wanted to be friends with me because she pitied me or what? Good, you, Grace, another word for bamboozle. Well, sir, bamboozle means to trick or cheat. Mystify, Grace said, smiling. She was the class representative. She was also short and fair in complexion. Good, well done, Mr. Edwards said, pacing around as he scanned the whole class with his brown eyes. You, at the back of your name is Shun, right? Yes, sir, Shun said, toying with a pen. Okay, another word for nabub. No idea, sir, Shun said, and the whole class burst out laughing. No idea, I see. No, anyone. But I might as well remind you that you haven't written the topic we are treating today on the marker board, or did you write a date, Mr. Edward? And do you know how the prophet to is? Like walking around classes looking for things to complain about if it is she doesn't work to do in her office? Shin said, calmly and very audibly for this class to hear, which earned the class to be silent. Two convos coughed behind me and got others to laugh. I didn't know what was funny, but my classmates like to make things funny if in a funny situation. Mr. Edward stared at Shin, who confidently stared back at him. Where did you get the confidence from? This should be from his family. No, it runs in his family. This should be it. Whether it was an insult or was he just merely correcting Mr. Edward, which he should have done? Mr. Edward was the type of teacher who loved to dictate notes to us and once in a while dictate examples. If anyone wanted to pass his subject, he or she better get in his English not a judder, which was the key of getting most of us attention in class. I mean, who wanna fail English with our final year examination coming soon? Yeah, you are right. All of us soon, Mr. Edwards said, and went to the board. He wrote the topic word and synonyms and made a zigzag line between them. He went ahead and wrote the 28th May 2019. I bet you all wrote down the definition of what synonyms are and the example I asked from your mates, right? We all murmured a reply and started doing that. I knew we weren't going to write the definition of what Victoria gave. We were going to define ours as long as we understood what it meant, but some might go with Victoria's definition. Listen, another word for nabub, meaning wealth or importance, he said. Elaborated. Someone of great wealth or luxury, a tycoon. Right, okay, class, your assignment is that you write 20 words and synonyms and use 10 of them to make a sentence. Make sure you understand what you're doing. I will be asking you questions with your note. I want it on my table next tomorrow morning. We began murmuring. No copying. No, I will be giving you some examples. Write them now, and I will be explaining some grammar. Mr. Edward continued writing on the marker board for about 15 minutes before the bell rang for the next period. All right, class, see you tomorrow, and don't forget to do your assignment, he said, picking up his books before waving at us and walking out of the class. I don't have time for assignments, Demilala screamed. I get to model today. I have an appointment to photo shoot. It's easy. You can do it when you get back home at night or so, Grace said calmly. Shut up, buck at Grace, who only shrugged and faced the front. Suddenly, Demilola's expression changed from the grumpy face to smiley one as she realized something. She walked up to Grace in her short purple skirt. The school uniform was a white skirt, purple leggings, and purple tie. Whilst the girls were using a straight tie, the guys were using a bow tie. Dumbledore as usual like breaking the rules as we wearing white leggings and purple boots instead of black. She had her braided and packed into ponytails. Or you could help me with it. With what? Grace asked, glancing up at her. My assignment, of course. Though it was different from yours. No, Grace snapped. I will pay you, Dumbledore said, already angry. I said no, I don't want your money and I'm not going to help you with your homework. Go do it yourself. Grace eyes her. Whatever, dummy, Dumbledore rolled her eyes. Well, you and I both know who or dummy is between us, dummy. My classmates gasped, and the naughty Tucumbo started to whine both them. After I said Grace was the class representative, I forgot to add she was mouth loose. She could insult anybody, but she couldn't fight. You brought no, I ain't a dummy. I just have things to do. And where the hell is the biology teacher? Doesn't she know we were here for the second period? Grace said instead, looking around as if Dummy was invisible. Dummy? Get the hint, and I watched her walk away to her seat. Suddenly, someone dropped a notebook on my desk, and I looked up to see Shun smiling at me. Do my assignments, Shun ordered me.